Welcome back to Business and Leisure. The corner bakery is as old a tradition as one can imagine. Several decades ago, our forefathers thrived on bread for breakfast and all sorts of local biscuits to go with the traditional afternoon coffee. Unfortunately, the traditional bakery has slowly been pushed back to make way for the newer, more modern bake shops. Here is a story of an entrepreneur who refuses to bow to the modern bake master and who stood his ground to champion the cause of the traditional Filipino bakery.
Wilson Lee Flores is known to many as a highly successful real estate broker, college professor, and regular columnist of a popular newspaper. But an interesting thing happened to this professional on his way to a speaking engagement. Knowing him to be a reliable real estate broker, people approached him to sell their properties. One of these was the owner of an iconic Filipino bakery, the Kamuning Bakery.
I've been a customer of Kamuning Bakery ever since I read about this in the 1980s in the columns of the famous food critic Dr. Doreen Fernandez. This was her favorite bakery. She keeps writing about how good this bakery is. President Cory Aquino and many celebrities now kept buying here. So I became a customer. I know this place na, and I've read about the history. Then in 2013, September, I was invited to be a speaker at a business conference in Makati. And in the audience, they heard that I was a real estate broker by profession, college teacher, and columnist. They approached me, several people, asking me to sell real estate properties. One of them was the owner of Kamuning Bakery, a son of the founder, Attorney Leticia Bonifacio Javier. So when they said they wanted my help to sell this property, sabi ko, I know this place. This is very well known, very historical. So I negotiated and I said, ako na lang, I'd like to buy it na lang. And I bought it not only as real estate, but I wanted to revive the old bakery.
If you live in the Quezon City area, chances are you're familiar with this old bakery, which has been around since 1939. And when he heard that it was up for sale, Wilson lost no time in negotiating for it himself.
Ako naman, kaya tinuloy ko, sabi ko, there are ways to make the business survive. Sayang kasi. Alam mo ba, paborito ito ni Cory Aquino, Gloria Romero, Chief Justice, daming mga sikat, mga artista. Sayang kasi sayang ng lugar na to.
Indeed, the Kamuning Bakery is part of Philippine history. This is a 76-year-old wood-fired brick oven, or pugon as we call it. Like all old things, it is sturdy, massive, even as it fills one wall of the baking area. Wood-fired ovens are almost extinct now, as very few have chosen to retain them. Many have succumbed to the modern ovens, which are generally more cost-effective. These pugons involve higher costs for production, longer processes, and are generally more labor-intensive. Unlike modern ovens, one can produce smaller batches of baked goodies in the pugon. But Wilson found that he couldn't resist the idea of reviving the old glory of the Kamuning Bakery, the very first bakery that was put up in Quezon City, and this was in 1939. So Wilson bought the property and the facilities in December 2013.
I believe there is a niche market out there. I believe there are buyers out there looking for high-quality, pugon-baked, no preservative breads, cakes, and biscuits. And I believe if I promote it like using technology, social media, they will come and buy pa rin.
This iconic bakery almost never regained its place in history, as parts of it were rented out as a printing press, a parlor, a carinderia, and even a dental clinic, while retaining only a small space for the bake shop. By then, only one pugon was working, and there was only one veteran baker left to make the traditional bread and biscuits.
My accountants were angry at me at first. I said, what are you getting into? And I remember the eldest sister of the former owner went to me and asked me, why did you continue? it is so very difficult. They were wondering, the eldest sister, the eldest daughter of the founder, was wondering why I tried to continue.
One of his talented bakers, Philip, showed us how they churn out those good old favorites, pushing in trays of bizcocho inside the huge cavern using the 12-feet pala made out of yakal wood, then shutting down the oven to bake.
This is the best way of baking. The taste is different, the quality is different, and all our breads and biscuits and cakes dito, no preservatives and no additives inside because traditional.
Wilson has since rehabilitated the second brick oven, and the revived Kamuning bakery now bakes thousands of bread, cookies, and cakes every day, from morning till night. One of the best sellers is the bizcocho.
Kahit na walang kape, masarap, pero pag may kape yan, wow!
Few businessmen would want to go into business for love of history or old tradition like Wilson.
Really 100% very sure ako na as long as I maintain the good traditions, I maintain the good quality, and I build on the goodwill of the past, it will still do well. And I'm surprised, many people from all walks of life, from different areas, not only Quezon City, they come all the way here. We have buyers of breads here from Alabang, from Parañaque. That's the reason before the bakery was open only from 5 a.m. to mga 5, 6 o'clock in the evening. Now we open all the way up to 10 o'clock every night because there are buyers from different places.
For sure, there was a hefty investment that went into reviving this old piece of history. It took half a year of renovation and repainting, mostly done at night in order not to disrupt the daily business.
I researched all the books of Doreen Fernandez, writing about Philippine foods. And every time she writes about Philippine breads and baking, the entire section is Kamuning Bakery. So I researched that book, and inside that book, she enumerated all the old-style breads and biscuits and cakes, everyone. So I brought the list to the old baker. I said, do you remember how to do bodigos? Do you remember how to do galletas? Do you remember how to do all these sultan, aglipay, ugoy, lubid, dalagang bukid, all kinds of exotic sounding breads and biscuits. They know. So I said, let us revive everything. So I asked them to revive, and then I tasted, I revived, and then I asked them to write down everything just in case anybody dies, it will be continuing sana.
And while the love for antiquity and history is there, it is inevitable that some concessions to modern times will come in.
Among the first things, I added free Wi-Fi. Kasi I want Wi-Fi. And then I added POS, parang cashier system. And just in one time kasi, there was a very old lady, a very wealthy customer came here, bought a lot of breads and cakes, walang cash. And sabi niya, do you have credit card? Sabi ko, sorry, we are a traditional old bakery, we don't have credit card. Sabi niya, you have to have credit card. So just for that one customer, I went to the bank and kinulit ko ang bangko, give us credit card facility now. Anybody could come here and buy with credit cards. We are maybe the only panaderia, old style, with credit card.
And to spruce up the coffee shop, Wilson opted to offer the very popular all-day breakfast and focus on the quality of their coffee.
We have so-called third wave or artisanal coffee drinks. We also have Frappuccino na coming soon. We also have all kinds of all-day breakfast here.
And since the second brick oven has been rehabilitated, there are also plans for other baked goodies.
For the second Pugon oven, we plan to do their Pugon chicken and Pugon pizza and Pugon lechon belly. Coming soon. Our own.
More bakers now work these pugons from morning till 10 p.m. The old bakers continue to teach the younger ones how to make the old traditional breads and cookies, while the younger ones have a thing or two to teach the veterans, like the newer cakes. In fact, the list of cakes now available in Kamuning Bakery is almost as long as the old traditional panaderia goodies of this bakery. Innovation? That is only one of the positive changes that Wilson brings to this revived bakery, even as he faces the challenges of preserving an iconic establishment like this one.
Number one challenge is how to maintain good people. How do we maintain good people? And if we need more people, how do we get more additional good people? And how to keep training them and making them consistent in their work. Number one, people. Number two is how to keep marketing this in an environment that is very competitive. There are now not only many local bakeries, there are also now many foreign bakeries coming to the Philippines. So we have to keep on making ourselves relevant. And number three challenge that I see, next challenge, we have to keep innovating. Ang idea ko, I keep telling our people, even though we are the oldest Pugon-style artisanal bakery, we should not be old in ideas and attitude.
Kamuning Bakery is perhaps the only one of its kind to have an honest-to-goodness small library with books, magazines, and newspapers. And people actually go there to borrow books, much like in any library. As long as his old loyal customers are happy, Kamuning Bakery will be there to serve.
I met one lady, 80 years old. She came here drinking coffee, very happy. She told our staff she was 7 years old when she first bought bread at Kamuning Bakery with her parents. And she used to sell that bread pa nga in the neighborhood. And I was in the 75th anniversary celebration of Quezon City last year. Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno, I was surprised. In her speech before 20,000 people, she said after school in Quezon City High School, she would walk to her favorite Kamuning Bakery now to buy bread when she was a kid now. Many, many stories like that. And very heartwarming stories. And I would see old people bringing their grandchildren here. And I hear the grandparents telling the apo that when they were little kids now, they used to eat breads here now. Nakakatuwa nga.
The list of prominent men and women, from President Cory to Supreme Court justices and celebrities who enjoy the baked goodies from Kamuning Bakery, can go on and on.
I think Kamuning Bakery is a blessing for the whole neighborhood. They were joking after this opened down. The other people in the neighborhood started sprucing up and beautifying their establishments. And then some other restaurants have opened. And right across the street, a very old neighbor tore down the house, is now building a 7-story building across the street. So I think it's good for the whole neighborhood.
The number one specialty of Kamuning Bakery is the pan de suelo, which has been baked since 100 years ago. Others like the pan de coco, pan de sal, otap, and others continue to be top favorites as well. But now they have birthday cakes, fondant cakes, etc. Two of the largest franchise organizations have approached him about franchising, but Wilson is taking his time.
Maybe in the future we want to do branches kasi we have buyers from Makati and Alabang. They keep telling us we have to open in Makati, we have to open in the South now.
This Filipino entrepreneur seems content to have preserved history, and in so doing has made a profitable venture as well. His advice to young entrepreneurs?
Number one advice ko always is to enjoy what you are doing. Like, kasi if you enjoy what you are doing, if it's difficult, it's okay lang. Number two is to always think positive. All the negatives, you can turn around to positive. Like, people say our technology is old. It's so old-fashioned, nobody does that anymore. Even the Pande Manila and the others, they phase out all the pugon na. Why do you still use the, yung mga negative could be positive eh. That's what makes us unique eh. So, positive thinking, hard work, and always get good people.
And if you want some good inspiration on top of these words of advice from a guru, heed this personal invitation.
Kamuning Bakery has been in Quezon City since 1939. You are all welcome to eat here and buy breads and drink coffee. We are in Judge Jimenez Street, corner K First Street, Quezon City, near Caltex and East West Bank of Kamuning Road. We are also in Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. You can also call anytime 929-2216, 411-2311, or 794-5045.
I think that's called hitting two birds with one stone, preserving history and old Filipino traditions and making a neat profit while doing it. Who says you can't have your cake and eat it too?